Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Sutherland Springs Baptist Church will never be the same following the deadly attack Sunday that left 26 of its members dead. Outside of the church, there are now crosses for each of the victims. The community working through its grief and trying to decide how to move forward. Our Caitlin Burke is here with the story.
The memories of the victims of the Texas church shooting will forever be honored on the property owned by the Sutherland Springs Baptist Church, but the building will come down. Pastor Frank Pomeroy told leaders of the Southern Baptist Convention earlier this week that it would be too painful to continue using. He's requesting the site be turned into a memorial for the dead and a new building be built. Vice President Mike Pence joined Texas Governor Greg Abbott at a memorial service Wednesday for the victims. Both men speaking about faith in God in the aftermath of tragedy.
No attack, no act of violence will ever break our spirit or diminish the faith of the American people.
Whenever things occur that are beyond explanation, there's only one source that has the answers, and that is God Almighty.
During his time in Texas, Pence visited with wounded congregants and families of the dead, telling one man that the whole country is praying over him. The vice president also demanded justice.
We now know it was a crime that the assailant was ever able to purchase a firearm in the first place.
The Air Force admits that the shooter's past conviction on domestic violence-related charges should have been communicated to the FBI. If Devin Kelly's court-martial had been passed along, he never would have been able to buy a firearm. Authorities continued their investigation into Kelly, President Trump ordering federal agencies to provide extensive help. Governor Abbott, meanwhile, proclaimed this coming Sunday, November 12th, a day of prayer in Texas. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Allegations against Alabama's Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore are rocking the GOP. In a story in the Washington Post Thursday, a woman claims the judge made sexual advances on her when he was 32 and she was just 14. Leah Korfman claims Moore, then an assistant district attorney, took her to his house, removed her outer garments, and touched her inappropriately. 3 other women in this story also claim they had romantic but not sexual encounters with Moore when they were just teenagers. They range from the ages of 16 to 18, according to the Washington Post. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell said if the allegations are true, Moore should drop out of the Alabama Senate race. In a statement, Moore said the report is a completely false and desperate political attack. He added if the accusations were true, they would have come out long before his 40 years of public service right now. Moore has been in the media spotlight before in 2003 for refusing to remove a Ten Commandments monument from the Alabama courthouse. Earlier this year, he defied a federal court order to strike down state laws banning same-sex marriage. Senators took note of the criticism of the House tax plan and opted to include many popular deductions the House plan left out of the bill. They introduced that bill Thursday. Abigail Robertson brings us more now on this story from Washington.
In a big win for adoption advocates, the House Ways and Means Committee voted to preserve the child adoption tax credit in their Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that now heads to the House floor for a final vote.
This is good news. Yes, it's $355 million last year for which we have numbers for, but that's $355 million well spent.
The Senate tax plan unveiled Thursday also protects the adoption credit and other popular deductions like charitable contribution, medical expenses, and graduate school. Senators Marco Rubio and Mike Lee, however, are disappointed to see the child tax credit not expanded to $2,000. Many Americans will wonder, does the tax plan actually keep more money in their pockets? Senator Tim Scott says yes.
At the end of the day, what we're doing first is making sure that the hardworking American gets to keep more of her money. And number 2, that we continue to empower this economy to create jobs of the future today here at home. And the good news is we've accomplished both.
A key difference in the Senate bill is that it calls for a 1-year delay in the corporate tax cut, which they hope to make permanent. Scott tells CBN News details of the delay are a work in progress.
The reality of it is that the expensing and the parts of our bill that will allow for us to spur economic growth will happen immediately. There is some tug of war still happening on the corporate tax rate, but we're going to have that ironed out here in a couple days.
Unlike the House plan, the Senate bill retains 7 tax brackets: 10, 12, 22.5, 25, 32.5, and 35%, with the highest tax bracket slightly lowered to 38.5%. It also eliminates the entire deduction for state and local taxes that affects high-tax states like New York and New Jersey. Senate Democrat Dick Durbin says he's concerned this bill just gives tax breaks to the wealthy and thinks any changes to the corporate tax rate should help smaller corporations and reward those that have stayed in America and not moved overseas.
Here's the good news for the big corporations. They don't need our help. Many of them are paying almost no federal taxes, federal corporate income taxes. But it seems in my state and other places, the small and medium-sized companies that really create the jobs pay a higher tax rate. That's not fair. I'll work with Republicans to change that.
He's also concerned Republicans are rushing the bill through.
It's coming together so quickly, nobody's had a chance to carefully study it. You know, if you're going to change the entire tax code, for goodness sakes, take the time to have a hearing, bring in witnesses, consider amendments. That's not being done.
Senators on both sides of the aisle will be able to offer amendments as the bill heads to committee for markup. Tax reform continues to move forward, with both chambers expected to vote on their version of the tax plan by the end of next week. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Hundreds of believers gathered to support the Colorado baker under fire for refusing to make a cake for a gay wedding. Jack Phillips is the owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop, and he will head to the U.S. Supreme Court next month in a case that has big implications for people of faith. To show support, some 400 people rallied at Colorado Christian University, offering support and encouragement. Phillips addressed the crowd, condemning the government for punishing him for simply acting in accordance with his religious beliefs.
Every American should be free to choose which art they create and which art they won't create, without fear of being unjustly punished by the government. It's very sad to me that the government officials in Colorado believe differently.
Oral arguments for Phillips' case begins December 5th. Coming up, CBN Disaster Relief is on the ground after a deadly typhoon in Vietnam. See how they're assisting those in need when CBN NewsWatch continues after this. First Lady Melania Trump visited the Great Wall of China Friday. She strolled along a stretch of the wall for about a half an hour with aides and security officers. She also visited the Beijing Zoo to check out the pandas. The First Lady stayed in China as President Trump flew to Da Nang, Vietnam to participate in a regional conference. The First Lady plans to return to Washington after stopping in Alaska to spend some time visiting military troops there. Well, just days before the president visited Vietnam, a super typhoon hit coastal areas 300 miles from Da Nang. That is the city where the president will address a regional economic summit. At least 106 people were killed and thousands left homeless in the storm. CBN Vietnam humanitarian was first to provide help to areas isolated by heavy floods. Our Lucille Talusan is in Vietnam and brings us more now on this story.
Tropical storm Damri, the strongest to hit Vietnam in 16 years, devastated the country's south and central provinces. Da Nang was also affected. It's the host city of this year's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC Summit. The storm left at least 106 people dead and thousands homeless. Many areas were flooded because of heavy rains, isolating many villages. Residents trapped in their flooded homes were relieved that CBN Humanitarian in Vietnam was quick to give them food and water supply. CBN Vietnam Disaster Relief Coordinator Chow Liu says team members rowed boats to bring food and water to the people. She says villagers were very thankful because it was the first time that anyone had come to help them.
This is how high the waters reach this government office and most of the houses here in this area. And it's only after 4 days of flooding that the flood waters have finally receded. And so today it's cleaning time. And it's also the time for CBN Humanitarian to provide necessities for the flood victims, such as food, water, and some money to help them get back to their normal lives.
Talusan says it is also an opportunity to share the love of Christ to the people who are mostly poor farmers. She says because Vietnam is a communist country, it is not allowed to openly share the gospel to the people. But I tell them, I help you because I love Christ, and Christ sends me to you because He loves you. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Da Nang, Vietnam.
They're taking a stand for the unborn. See how the protesters at Bound for Life are fighting abortion when CBN NewsWatch returns. Some Americans are now involved in a hard-fought effort to stop abortion. As Paul Strand now reports, they're fighting against it on two fronts, on earth and in the spiritual realm.
Outside the Supreme Court, members of a pro-life group have been praying this prayer for years. Jesus, I plead your blood over my sins and the sins of my nation. God, end abortion and send revival to America. But when not praying aloud, members of Bound for Life often lay silent siege to the court, wearing red tape over their mouth that says life. They do it because they believe it makes them just like the unborn babies who have no voice to protest their death in the womb. Bound for Life's Robbie Harvell felt called to this battle.
And it really started with the Lord, that it was a dream in the Lord's heart that has become a dream in my heart to see abortion end.
Do these prayer warriors feel these many years of intercession are making a difference? Jared Olson says yes. He's moved to D.C. from a local Bound for Life chapter, one of the dozens that have popped up across the country.
Where I've come from in Florida, we've actually seen the abortion rate drop by almost 25%.
There's more prayer for the ending of abortion happening in America right now than there's ever been happening. And there are more pro-life efforts and pro-life cases and more pro-life judges being nominated than ever before. And I have to believe that that's an answer to prayer.
We've seen the greatest number of pro-life bills pass since Florida became a state. And that story is really across the nation. God is moving in similar profound ways.
Jesus, I plead your blood over my sins and the sins of my nation. God, end abortion and send revival to America.
Bound for Life members don't just pray, they also take action, both at the local and national levels. Executive Director Matt Lockett.
Truth be told, I want to save one life, but I also want to save 1 million lives.
Take Harvell. Every week, she counsels those with crisis pregnancies.
And I'm able to kind of be that voice of reason and really give them another option and just talk about the destiny of the child. I really am involved at a really personal level in saving lives.
I believe Robbie represents the hope for America, is that she loves the Lord and she's applying that passion in a productive way that's affecting Capitol Hill, but it's also affecting individual lives.
And sometimes these prayer warriors are used to take action against abortion they don't even know about. One example involves these Bound for Life wristbands they wear that say life. Wearers pledge to pray for an end to abortion daily and to vote pro-life. Lockett tells about a young woman who loved her life band so much, she was really bummed when she lost it in a Walmart parking lot. But then a year later, as a waitress, she met a customer wearing a life band.
She's like, I have one too. She goes, where did you get yours? And she says, well, you know, about a year ago, I was scheduled to have an abortion. And I was just tore up emotionally. I didn't know where to go or what to do. I didn't have anywhere to turn. And I had an abortion scheduled for the following day and I needed to take my mind off it. So I went to the store to go shopping to get some things. And she says, when I got out of my car, I looked down and I was in the parking lot of Walmart. And she said, I looked down and I found this red wristband with the word life on it. And when I saw it, in that moment, the Lord told me that I was to save the life of my baby.
Lockett says she then gave the young woman who originally lost her wristband something much more precious, a look at the life that her lost wristband saved.
And then she turns this little car seat around, she says, and here is my child. And so it was this incredible moment.
As for the big picture, these prayer warriors are beginning to see a path where the ruling that legalized abortion nationwide could be thrown out, like the fact there's now a president pledging to nominate justices friendly to the pro-life cause.
We believe we're in a window where God wants to overturn Roe v. Wade.
And there are the organizers of the vast worship gathering on the National Mall, known as Awaken the Dawn, asking women across America to fight abortion.
What better voice than the voice of thousands of women to stand up? Not men, but women to stand up and lift their voice publicly. We're working with Moral Outcry. It's a ministry that is rolling out this petition where they're hoping for 10 to 20 million signatures to overturn Roe v. Wade that they can then submit to the halls of power.
A move that would come with legal abortion potentially in the balance. Paul Strand, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
God's people at work praying. Stay with us. There's much more of CBN NewsWatch straight ahead. What drives acts of courage and sacrifice on the battlefield? We found an answer in a new documentary hitting theaters this Veterans Day. CBN's national security correspondent Erik Rosales spoke with the chaplain and filmmaker behind No Greater Love.
U.S. military chaplains carry no weapon on the battlefield other than a Bible. While deployed in Afghanistan, U.S. Army chaplain Justin Roberts said he had no plans to make a film. But after witnessing the heroism and courage of his fellow soldiers, he says it was the least he could do.
Whenever a person does a courageous action or an action of amazing sacrifice, what is the heart that is driving that person? And what I saw as a chaplain, what I learned from these people was, at the end of the day, it was this complete selfless love.
We were going into 2 known enemy strongholds. No one had ever dared go up there.
The Russians hadn't even been up there.
For 3 years, Chaplain Roberts served with the 2nd 327 Infantry Battalion, better known as No Slack. The unit took part in some of the most intense firefights in the Afghan conflict.
The casualties just started adding up.
We had 1 WIA and 1 KIA.
I've never heard so much gunfire in my entire life. And we have been in a lot of firefights, but that was by far the worst.
I brought him over here. I'll bring him back.
While achieving wins on the battlefield, No Slack suffered multiple fatalities, and its members returned home with some 200 Purple Hearts. Roberts hopes No Greater Love causes a groundswell of support for our troops and serves as a wake-up call to their personal struggles, both on the battlefield and here at home.
Who are veterans going to have a relationship with when they come home? And if only 1 out of 4 churches is really stepping up to meet their veterans, then we've got a problem. We have to have the church step up to be that relationship.
The statistics are alarming. 20 veterans commit suicide each day, and 20% overall suffer from some form of PTSD.
There's amazing veteran ministries that have provided us with toolkits for churches that if they want to engage using this film.
I understood America so much more on the mountaintops of Afghanistan.
While No Greater Love has received a number of awards, Chaplain Roberts hopes it's the veterans who receive the real recognition here at home. Erik Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
If you're looking to help, you can do so. If you're a church leader or know a church leader and would like to get free ministry toolkits on how to set up veterans programs within the church, simply go to our website. It's cbnnews.com. We provided a link there to this story. Now, if you are looking for some family-friendly entertainment this weekend, we've got a helpful movie review from our friends at Plugged In Online. This week, they are checking out Murder on the Orient Express.
My name is Hercule Poirot, and I am probably the greatest detective in the world.
In the movie Murder on the Orient Express, a famed detective has just finished solving a fairly problematic crime, and he's hoping to have a bit of vacation while heading back to Britain. So he books passage on the luxurious train, the Orient Express.
Avenger of the innocent. Is that what they told you in the papers?
And you are innocent?
You're fun.
His fellow passengers, however, are a suspicious-looking lot, including an American gangster, a professor with Nazi sympathies, a widow with devious things dancing in her eyes, and many, many more. Of course, in this detective's experience, when you have a suspicious-looking lot, something bad is usually not far behind.
A passenger has died. He was murdered.
And after a fatal stabbing of one of the most notoriously despicable characters on the train, the inspector must end his vacation and find the killer.
What did you think of the dead man?
You leave her out of this.
Did he have enemies?
Pick a number.
But how do you pinpoint a person in the wrong when every person around you has secrets to hide and lies on their lips? This remake of an Agatha Christie classic murder mystery movie is packed with colorful characters, and it struggles with right and wrong while weighing the balance of justice. There is, of course, a murder on hand, and that involves a bit of bloodiness, some rough language, and a few sensual winks. So I'm giving Murder on the Orient Express 3 avalanches out of 5 for family friendliness. For more on this film, be sure to check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies. I'm Bob Olszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
Right now it's time for your Friday Faithful, and I pray these words will deliver encouragement to help you navigate the day and the weekend. Guard your heart and watch your mouth. Consider this: it is better to keep silent, think, and speak later. Spoken words can't be erased from the minds of those who hear them. It's a familiar scripture which calls on us all to be slow to speak, but quick to hear. With that word, make this a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. That is a wrap for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about always at cbnnews.com. We'll see you right back here come Monday. Goodbye and God bless everybody.